Welcome to the Now. I'm Ashley.
I'm Mica.
You ready to pay extra if you want one of them there violent video games?
No!
Well, that's too bad because it's being proposed by Rhode Island after video games, yet again, have become a convenient scapegoat for school shootings like the one that just happened in Florida.
Yes, a politician there says he'll introduce legislation that will tax video games rated M or higher.
Ooh, you're gonna have to pay extra for the sexy games,
Yep.
too.
If passed, that means that a 10% fee would be added to a game's price and then used to increase mental health and counseling resources in schools.
Which means your $60 game could end up costing $66, plus whatever normal taxes in Rhode Island because, politicians love blaming video games for every evil in the world.
Of course, as we've reported, and studies, literal scientific studies have shown, there is no proven link between violent video games and aggressive behavior.
It's science! But, why deal with the real issues like gun control, the fact that people are legally buying guns used in school shootings, access to mental health services, when, politicians can just grandstand and gripe about those darkies in the freaking games.
Their GTA and their strippers and their
dooms.
Their dooms. Well, maybe the ESA should start paying politicians as much as the NRA does.
I don't know that our industry has that deep of pockets.
Nope.
Ever since the horrific shooting in Parkland, Florida, which killed 17 people, we've seen a number of different politicians trying to divert attention onto convenient scapegoats like video games.
Yes, this blame game has been going on forever. The Columbine school shooting was famously attributed to everything from violent video games to Marilyn Manson.
All right, so why would you tax M-rated video games in Rhode Island?
State Rep Bobby Nardolillo, who is proposing the law, claims there is evidence that children exposed to violent video games at a young age tend to act more aggressively than those who are not. This bill would give schools the additional resources needed to help students deal with that aggression in a positive way.
First off, no. There is no evidence to support that, but we'll get to that.
Nardolillo said that the law could help restrict access to violent video games. States can't flat out ban the sale of games to minors. Age restrictions on video game sales falls to the ESRB, which restricts retailers from selling M-rated games to anyone under the age of 17.
And the ESRB is run by the ESA, which is it's an industry entity instead of being a government entity. That was actually the whole point of it.
Right.
Of course, parents could also pay attention to what their kids are playing and buying and what they're buying for their kids. But just give little Timmy that GTA, shut him up and stay out of your way.
If this law is passed, it means that stuff like Call of Duty, World War II, or Doom, or South Park, or Bayonetta, or Wolfenstein, or a fuck ton of games could cost—
Lots of games.
Yeah, so many games would cost $6 more in Rhode Island. And upcoming games like God of War and Far Cry 5 would also be impacted.
Well, and there's the issue of how this could possibly impact unit sales of games. Now, you increase the price of anything, there's a chance sales could go down because people don't want to spend the extra money. Of course, if you live in Rhode Island, you could also drive like 5 minutes to another state and, hey, problem solved.
Yeah.
That's what we always did in Utah for fireworks because you couldn't buy them in the States, so you just drive to the Idaho border, buy all your fireworks, and then take them home.
See, there you go. But maybe it wouldn't affect sales. Some
Maybe.
analysts argue that games are underpriced, considering that they've been in the $50 to $60 range for decades now.
Last year, industry analyst Evan Wingren wrote that gamers are actually undercharged and that it's a relatively cheap form of entertainment.
He wrote, if you take a step back and look at the data, an hour of video game content is still one of the cheapest forms of entertainment. Quantitative analysis shows that video game publishers are actually charging gamers at a relatively inexpensive rate and should probably raise prices. Yeah,
Evan,
don't do that, my dude.
Back in the PlayStation 2 era, everyone's favorite analyst, Michael Pachter, argued that gamers wouldn't mind a price increase. He told NBC, prices never go down. People don't have a problem with prices going up. The publishers do.
Stop this! Why is everyone advertising? Quit it!
He wasn't wrong, though.
He wasn't, but shut up. Of course, though, then game prices did go up. The Xbox/PS2 era standard was around $50, but then jumped to $60 with the next generation.
It was for all the HDs.
Oh, all of those Ds. And initially there was a lot of outrage over it, but then everyone kept buying games and it became the new normal, but still, stop it.
Nardolillo, who proposed the law, said his ultimate goal is to make every school in Rhode Island a safe and calm place for students to learn. By offering children resources to manage their aggression today, we can ensure a more peaceful tomorrow.
Yeah, as dystopian as that statement is, Nardolillo isn't the only politician going after video games.
It is very dystopian.
Is right?
Recently, President Trump also pointed the finger at video games, saying, "I'm hearing more and more people say the level of violence on video games is really shaping young people's thoughts."
Yeah, if by shaping young thoughts you mean improving problem-solving skills and improving hand-eye coordination, then yeah, sure. But
take that!
It sounds more like he's saying video games make you take up plumbing or farming or fighting your friends with small animals that you found in the woods. I mean, I would do that if I could have a real Pikachu.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I'm the problem.
Come to think of it, Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin also recently blamed all sorts of media, including games, for corrupting the minds of young people.
Ah, well, yeah, it's worth noting again, and we can practically do that by memory now, that numerous studies haven't found a link between games and real-world aggression. Some have found that antisocial personalities might be drawn to playing violent video games, but that's different than games causing violence, because if that was true, ooh, I'd be a bad person. I played Tekken when I was 5.
I cry at sad dog commercials, and I don't kill spiders.
There we go.
Villanova University psychologist and researcher Patrick Markey, who wrote a book on the subject of games and violence, told USA Today, "All we can really say for sure is that there does not appear to be a link at this time between violent video games and school shootings. And if there is a link, it goes in the opposite direction."
Yeah, he said only about 20% of school shooters play video games compared to 70% of high school students overall who play games.
And putting aside that it's depressing, we can actually get stats on something like that because there are so many.
Yeah.
Even if 1 in 5 play games, right, that's gotta be the common link. That's the root cause of all of them, right?
Actually, there's evidence that violent video games might decrease real-life mayhem. In 2011, University of Texas economist Michael Ward and 2 colleagues found that high rates of violent game sales coincided with a drop in crime, especially violent crime, like The Purge, but virtually.
That still hasn't stopped people from trying to make a link, though, because why facts? And while it is true that the Columbine shooters Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold were big Doom fans, others like Virginia Tech shooter Swen Kui Cho weren't into gaming at all.
Sandy Hook shooter Adam Lanza was completely obsessed with one particular video game. Okay, so what violent shooter was it?
Dance Dance Revolution. The least M-rated game ever. How about you tax that? Or better yet, how about addressing the issues that really matter?
Like that it's dance games that are corrupting the minds of our youth. How dare you!
We should be regulating those.
Yeah, that's awful.
What do you guys think about a possible tax on M-rated games? Would an increase in the price of mature and violent games change what you buy, how often you buy? Let us know in the comments.
And for all of your video game news, be sure to like this video, and if you're new around here, subscribe to the Now. Ban Just Dance 2018!
Mica, they're coming for your idle tap-tap.
Too many dance-based school attacks.
If they come for my idle tap-tap games, I will rain hell down upon their heads. Wasn't, but shut up. Of course, though, then game prices did go up. The Xbox PS2 era... Oh, the Xbox...